Hello.
Hello. Real time.
Yep, my video is on.
Oh. Nice.
To the stream that entire time.
Say it again.
No, it's fine. I just berated Frank for not being here. So if you did miss what I was saying, that's what I was saying. Oh, God, why? There it is. Now it looks like a real show, minus the ticker, which I'll put up later because it's not updated. Like I said earlier, welcome to Esports Canada episode number 46, a very special episode because Frank Ricci is not, in fact, here.
Woohoo!
So let's all give a moment of thanks for that occurrence. Supposedly his computer blew up. I can only imagine because he's just so bad at gaming and life in general, the computer finally put itself to rest. So Frank, if you're watching this via some tablet or phone, take as much time as you need to come back.
Mourn the loss.
I am going to miss him, though. He fills up an hour pretty damn well. My God, that guy could babble. We have a very special guest tonight, a little bit different than our usual guests in that he's quite attractive. He's from Toronto. Two things we normally don't have whatsoever. And as well, he is I gave you a title here, Gavin. If it is wrong, feel free to ask me to change it. Journalist/documentarian.
Sure, that's fine by me.
Now that I look at it, I don't think documentarian's a word.
Really?
No,
It sounds real. It sounds legit.
I like to
documentalist.
I like to call myself a storyteller, new media renaissance man too. But you know,
don't be one of those people.
there are far worse things that I've been called, so any of those things are fine by me.
Fantastic. So, Gavin, you have a very special project in the works right now that I do want to pick your brain about all night. And if we're lucky, Nick will even say a word or two. But why don't you
I have this huge toothache. It's coming in waves, so you'll see me wince here and there, and that's me in pain and suffering. So I will try my best.
Around it. And
Huh?
Tie some floss around it, your tooth.
And then I'd be missing a front tooth.
Oh, it's your front tooth?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know. It hurts.
I'll try not to take it personally. If I'm answering a question, I just see you.
Yeah, exactly. It's not because your ancestors are terrible.
That sounds awful. So, Gavin, to start things off, I want to know your full name, because I don't know it, and as well where you're from, where you live now, and how you got involved loosely in this world of esports.
Sure. Well, I'll try to give you the elevator pitch, I guess, of who I am. My full name is Gavin Roy Seal. So Roy being my middle name, you probably didn't know that. I'm originally from Montreal. I moved to Toronto about 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm currently in the CBC, in the Canadian Broadcast Corporation. I'm just taking my break to talk to you guys. So my background is in TV. I've reported, produced, directed in news, sports, lifestyle, culture, community, pretty much. I mean, I kind of like to dabble in a number of different genres, and I got involved in esports. Actually, John, you know this because our mutual friend Fred found out that I was a casual StarCraft player, and he introduced me to you, John Quinn, and told me about this thing called esports. And so about a year ago, I was invited to cover the WCG Central Canada Finals. Thought that sounded great, so I scrambled to get a team together. I had one of my buddies, Al, who I work with at CBC, come in on the Sunday, and then on the Saturday, I think I went to the Sony store on the first floor and bought a camera so I could shoot myself and then return the camera. Sunil Pabari, who did that great short doc, drones, probes, and SCVs. He was there, so he helped me shoot a couple interviews. And through this mishmash of people coming in and out, I was able to put together a short feature on that event. Obviously, the production value was pretty low, but it was a great introduction into the scene. And I think what really happened was, in post-production, while I was working on that feature, I had all these amazing storylines. Like, I talked to Dave Wood, who was at one point, I'm not sure if he still is, was the top FIFA player in the world. I talked to Hendrilisk and Combat X, who I'm sure we'll get into at some point. Talked to just a whole lot of these esports athletes, and got these great stories, like how Dave Wood was the best FIFA player in the world and couldn't support his family, and really attracted me to the scene and the human interest stories of just people doing what they love to do. Essentially, those are the stories I like to tell, people that are passionate about things. And I was seeing so much passion, and as I was cutting together this feature, I realized, in 2 days, 2 days at the event, I couldn't get the coverage I wanted to tell these stories. I couldn't follow these players home. I couldn't talk to their families. I couldn't tell the amazing story that I wanted to tell because of my lack of resources. And that's what essentially inspired me to commit to this project. So Good Luck, Have Fun is a feature-length documentary that I'm currently raising funds for through an Indiegogo campaign. And those funds would be going to me and my team basically driving all over Canada, which, as you can imagine, is a pretty costly venture because it's such a giant nation, which is, as you guys know, an issue in the Canadian esports community. So most of the money that we'd be raising is actually going to transportation and Pop-Tarts or bagels or whatever we can afford to eat on this trip, and ultimately following the winners of WCG Canada to China as well, getting that storyline. But going to gaming houses, we just got the great news that Root Gaming would be happy to host us, I guess, for a little bit of time in their gaming house in LA. We have some Dota players in LA as well at a gaming house there, some Lolers in Vancouver, Girls of StarCraft in Ontario and in Quebec. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up now, but I'm really excited, and I could go on for an hour straight about what I want to do with this doc. But I'll let you guys ask some more questions, I guess.
No, we would never tell you to shut up. No, but that's why you're here, is to talk about it. If you need to talk for the full hour to get your point across on why you're doing this and what it's all going to be about, then so be it.
Well, that's basically it. I'm just, I was introduced to this community, and I'm just fascinated by it, and I think it's working at CBC Sports especially. I see a lot of old thinking. So I'm going to keep my voice down because this is where I am here. But a lot of apprehension.
You're a mole.
I remember that when the story a couple weeks ago came out on the League of Legends US visa thing, how the Canadian Danny Lee had instigated getting a visa so he could compete in League of Legends in the US. I thought that was an amazing story, and I really wanted to use that on news. And still to not mainstream, I guess is the way that I'll put it. Not mainstream enough to go live to the nation with. So that's why I'm fascinated by this, and I really want to be a part of documenting this up and coming thing, because I think it is amazing. And the documentary, I've gotten a lot of kind of feedback from the community on what makes this documentary different. And what makes it different is the documentaries that I've seen so far are all made by people within the community, and I think they're great. Liquid Rising was great for what it was, which was a look at the community from inside the community. But ultimately, if esports is going to grow, it needs to be presented in an accessible way. And that's what I want to bring to the table with this documentary. I want to look at it by comparing and contrasting it with, like sports, current sports, the state of sport, the fact that wrestling isn't going to be in the or almost wasn't in the Olympics.
Did it get reinstated?
I'd have to double check, but what happened was it ended up on a list of, I think, 21 sports that would then be reassessed and then whittled down. I don't have the results now, but even the fact that the oldest sport was potentially not going to be in the Olympics, that's a big deal. So I think we're definitely
in a... think you're contradicting yourself? You're complaining about CBC focusing on the old school stuff, and now the oldest sports being kicked out of the Olympics to let new sports in. So which one is it, Gavin?
I feel like you've twisted my words a little bit there.
I would never. How dare you? It looks like we're out of time, actually.
Right.
No, carry on.
No, the gist is it's a changing state of sport. We're in such a crazy time for technology, and I think really it's an amazing thing that's happening with esports. And so I want to bring to the table a documentary that looks at it from a cultural perspective, from a human interest perspective. Like I said, the other docs that have been made that I've seen so far have been really good for a demographic or for an audience within the community, but I want to create something a little more accessible. Indie Game the movie is kind of one of my inspirations, where it's like you can watch Indie Game the movie and you don't have to be an indie game player or developer to love that movie, because it's just a story about amazing people doing something they're truly passionate about, and that's what I want to make for esports.
I have a couple questions coming in from chat, mostly from our star moderator.
Cool.
You talked about your connections with CBC, you worked there, etc. And Hydralus wants to know, are you going to be utilizing any sort of CBC resources, connections, equipment, anything like that? I noticed the Indiegogo campaign has quite a lofty goal, so I assume it's a passion project that you're doing on the side, on your dime, and the community's donations.
Yeah, this CBC's allowed me a number of connections that I'm looking forward to leveraging. So, you'll see on the Indiegogo campaign, Steve Armitage, who's actually just around the corner doing a few live hits. Brenda Irving also, who was the first female reporter for Hockey Night in Canada, who can speak to gender issues in sport, which I'll be using to compare and contrast with the girls of StarCraft, who are a community for to make the better community for women playing StarCraft. So connections or relationships like those, I definitely look to leverage. Another guy, Al, who's upstairs producing the hits right now, has offered his services with his camera and editing. So I won't be using any official CBC resources, but I will be leveraging the relationships I have. And what was the second part of that question?
That's a good question. Mostly just related to that. Is this totally like a side project that you're
with
doing
the budget,
just out of your own personal passion on your own dime and donations?
Yeah, exactly. So all the labor is being provided by myself and with my team totally as a passion project. So we're not making any any money off this, with the exception of potentially once it's actually been distributed. So the next year of our lives that's going into this is totally on our own. You'll see in the breakdown on the campaign page that essentially the first $5,000 is going to the Central and Eastern Canada. The second $5,000 goes to Western Canada and LA, and then ultimately the stretch goal, if we can get that last $10,000, is so that we can follow the winners of the World Cyber Games Canada to China. So, and every single penny of that is going to transportation, food, lodging. We have gotten some amazing in-kind sponsorships. So someone's offered us a car, so that'll help. And some people have offered us, some people from within the community, esports community organizers or community members, event organizers have offered us places to stay. So that'll be really great. But no, of this, these funds that we're raising, not a dime's going into our pockets.
Fantastic. And the follow-up to that, also from Hydralist, I'm not sure why he's not hosting the show. It says the campaign will receive all funds raised, even if it does not reach its goal. So the plan is to go ahead and maybe scale it back if you do not reach the goal, or somehow look for other sponsorship or funding or something if that doesn't go through.
Yeah, so we have these stretch goals, which you'll see in the budget breakdown. Like we said, the first 5 to Central and Eastern, the second 5 is to Western and LA, and then the last 10 goes to China. And of course, Indiegogo takes a cut of any of that as well. So that's been factored into the goal. So yeah, we have those stretch goals. We are also in the process of reaching out to sponsors for corporate sponsorship. And again, that would depend on, ultimately we want to do this with nothing but the community support.
Right.
And if that's the case, then that would be great, because the less corporate influence, the better. Now, the way that we've written up those sponsorship packages would be based solely on having a logo on the poster and potentially an ad in the final credits. So it would in no way influence the content. And if it did come to that, and if they did request any sort of influence on content, that would not be done. So we're going to be very selective with any potential sponsorship. But ultimately, if we can raise this all throughout the community, then that would be the ideal solution. And the way the goals are set up, most of them are based on ultimately getting a copy of it. So for $25, you're getting the digital download right off the bat, so you'll get a copy in the end, and you'll be helping fund this project. And it really is the first. I know there are other documentarians, to use your word, John, who are documentalists who are producing documentaries in Canada, but from what I've seen, none of them are truly focusing on the challenges of being a Canadian in this industry, like Danny Lee trying to compete in the States, or like the Canadians at Root Gaming who have to go to LA to compete in a gaming house because we live in such a giant nation. Other things, like I was talking to the girls of StarCraft, and they were talking about how they find that the community is much more supportive of women in gaming in Canada than the US. So that was another interesting kind of cultural difference. So this really is an opportunity, I think, for Canadian esport players, athletes, and aspiring pro gamers to ultimately to help grow the Canadian presence in the scene, which, from what I've seen, none of the other documentaries being produced are doing.
Are you the solo kind of esports guy right now at CBC? And is it the kind of thing you wear a patch on your jacket and everyone knows there's Gavin the computer nerd? Or is it kind of whispers of, I hear he has this side project going on?
I've shared it with with my team in news and selected people in sports. So it's not. The thing is, it's not something that gets a lot of talk.
Yeah.
So
I just meant, was there people you work with who were also like really big gamers or knew exactly what you were talking about when you brought up, hey, I want to make an esports documentary? They were like, oh, fantastic, you have to cover these players and do this. This is going to be great. Or is it like, what is esports? and where do I buy one?
Well, that's that's a great question because maybe I should ask you the term esports, which I was introduced to pretty much immediately having spoken to you. But I've spoken to gamers, pro gamers, or even casual gamers who are familiar with professional gaming, competitive gaming. But it seems like the term esports is still not a widespread term.
No, I would agree on that.
So I thought that was really interesting because there have been occasions. So actually, you'll see in the campaign page or in all the materials, we've been very selective when we use professional video gaming or competitive gaming, and then we'll put esports in parentheses because it's one of those things where I think there's, I guess, kind of like bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, a platinum, diamond. There's like a certain level where esports is a very well-known term, but I think there are still a lot of real potential casual gamers who would be very interested in the scene. If the big thing with the scene in general, I guess, is standardization in a lot of ways, and you look at different communities with different games who don't necessarily get along. So anyway, the term esports, even then, I'll have to sometimes say like professional video gaming, and for the most part, the people I've spoken to have been very receptive to the idea that I'm doing a documentary. That's definitely gotten a positive reaction, and then for the most part, when I've said professional video gaming, they've kind of been like, "Oh, that's interesting."
That's a thing.
Yeah, yeah. So. There's been interest, but I think like most people who don't know about it already, kind of have that same reaction, and that's another thing that I look forward to doing. Just kind of talking to streeters, people out on the street. You know what? I talked to a woman at the World Cyber Games 2012 at the Central Canada Finals there, and I was like, "Do you play video games?" And she was like, "Absolutely not." And I was like, "So you don't play like Angry Birds or anything?" And she was like, "Yeah, I play Angry Birds." And I was like, "So you play video games?" And she was like, "Well, I guess if you consider that a video game." Like, so I think these are like a lot.
I wonder what she does call it. Like, what if it's not a video game? What is it?
Yeah. So I mean, these are a lot of the questions I want to talk to just people out on the street, strangers, and really get a sense of the landscape.
Cool. I see you do have some games listed here on the site: League of Legends, Dota 2, FIFA 14, and StarCraft. Obviously, the one that you don't usually see in there is FIFA 14. But yeah. I do like how you're covering not just kind of the main 3 or 4 games that everyone always talks about, because there are those people that are super good, like you talked about, David, who's top at FIFA. Is there room to expand to be able to cover other games?
I have gotten emails from professional Crossfire players. I haven't gotten anything from anyone who plays World of Tanks yet, but I'm sure those will come in.
It would be in Russian.
It would be in what?
Russian.
Yeah.
The email.
You're a racist. So
no, I'm just saying it's like the most popular game in Russia by far.
Oh, is that where it's?
If you look at the actual demographics for the game, it's like Korea, China, and then like Russia is like it's massive.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I know you're not racist. Having said that, I'll just move on.
Let's keep that other stories.
Yeah. So the FIFA 14 is the reason that's up there is a good example. That's Dave Wood. That's all Dave Wood. It's like Indie Game the movie again. It's I think what will really make this doc compelling is just these human stories, these stories that everyone can relate to, whether you're a gamer or not. And his is one of the best I've heard so far. A guy who was top in the world. He got flown to the U.S. He had his own TV show. He was playing professionally, best in the world, and wanted to start a family and couldn't make enough in this scene. I think you could turn FIFA 14 into StarCraft. You could turn FIFA 14 into indie game development. FIFA 14 could be wanting to be an architect. You know what I mean? Like, that's just an amazing, compelling story. So that's kind of the approach that I'm taking. Like but I know how important it is to the community to see their games represented, and so that's why I've listed those games. I wish I could just talk about these amazing people and these amazing stories, but I think it's important to show the games that they're representing so that the community can see that, and so that's why FIFA's on there. It's actually Dave Wood who
I wasn't trying to single out FIFA,
Sure.
but just I was wondering. I have a lot of people in chat asking about the fighting game community, and if you did have plans to cover some of that. And I think that actually would be a good part to put in because the game is so accessible. It's one person, and one person hits the other guy, he loses some health. It's like the most basic of concepts out there compared to League of Legends, where it's 5v5 and there's some towers and then there's creep and you want to build up these items and then you're out of breath before you can explain the whole game. So I think throwing in at least some sort of fighting game content would actually be you'd be able to expose yourself in the film to mainstream audiences a little more, because I think anyone who's played video games at any sort of level has played a fighting game or at least knows a fighting game.
Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. They're some of the most popular games. So
I have been in touch with it's I believe it's MTLSF. If it's not MTLSF, it's someone from Montreal who I used to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with back at the arcade in high school. So it's not off the radar. I've just yet to meet anyone who's shared a truly compelling story about their experience with professional competitive fighting games. But so if anyone in the chat who's been asking those questions, like if tweet at me, send me an email. I'd love to hear these stories.
No, I know there's definitely some groups in Toronto and Vancouver, since you're going to be there already, as well as in Halifax. The baby-faced gentleman sitting here in the video call with us, who is off screen right now, who will be joining us later, Mike Daniels, he can definitely set you up with a ton of people to cover the fighting game community, at least in some way. Because watching like StarCraft play, like actual two professional players compete, isn't the most exciting thing when you can't see the game.
Yeah.
But I think watching fighting games, even if you can't see the game, to watch two guys just like lose it on each other, like the BM and like the I'm not sure what the fighting game community calls it all, but the celebrations and just like the over the top, getting in each other's faces, all of that, I think would make for really good TV compared to a StarCraft and a Dota and League of Legends.
Actually, one of the best documentaries that I've seen on esports, which unfortunately I haven't seen in full because G4's video player is not great, was Focus, which was on Mike Ross, who was a professional fighting game player. And I've only gotten to watch like the first 15 minutes 3 times because the player doesn't let you fast forward well and things like that. But those 15 minutes were spectacular, and that's definitely the approach I'm going to take. They're talking to his dad about being on a bus and a kid on the bus recognizing his son. Those are the really interesting, compelling storylines. So I think you're absolutely right. And one of the things to keep in mind is with Good Luck, Have Fun is it's not going to be a lot of gameplay footage. Like that will inevitably be there, but it's about these humans. It's about people doing something that they love, and I'm not going to even attempt to explain all the upgrade trees and
I just mean for someone who can watch the game, you can pick up what a fighting game is in the first 3 seconds of watching it compared to you can watch 2 minutes of League of Legends and still not know what the hell it was you just watched.
Yeah, it's like you have a shot of someone smashing buttons, you have a shot of the on-screen players punching each other, and you kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Exactly. So you're raising all this money. You're going to take a giant trip around the world and have fun and watch and play video games.
Well, some of it will be fun. China will be fun. Everything else will be a lot of driving and a lot of...
I feel like you just shit all over every single Canadian city.
No, what I mean... I'm shitting all over how much it's going to suck traveling.
That's true.
So I don't want it to sound like I'm going on this Disneyland vacation or whatever.
So when is the deadline here for donations? August
Yeah.
29th. Am I going to be able to donate after the fact, or are you planning to hop in a car and start driving around Canada and the rest of North America August 30th?
That's a good question. I don't have any plans to continue fundraising from the community after August 30 or August 29th. That really is the deadline, because based on that, that's going to dictate what we're able to shoot and how we can schedule and what we can afford to do. So, yeah, that really does need to be the deadline. So ultimately, with what we've raised so far, we need about 800 more people to pre-order this, or to donate the $25 and get the HD digital download. Now, of course, if people want the DVD or the Blu-ray and they throw in a little more, then that helps us out. But we don't think it's I mean, we're talking about 800 people. Like, if 800 Canadians, who, I don't know how many people are watching this show right now.
Oh God, not anywhere near that.
Okay. Well, if 800 Canadians who dig esports on some level throw in $25 to get a copy of this when it's done, we're there. So, to be honest, if we can't get 800 people to buy in by August 30th, then maybe there isn't an interest in a documentary on esports in Canada. So,
I think the general rule is people are lazy and overall useless. So if you do not get that 800, at least when the movie is released, they'll torrent the shit out of it. So.
Right. And that's been a funny thing. Like, I saw Liquid Rising did the pay what you can or pay what you want, which I thought was really fascinating as well. So the once the digital downloads are out and the film festivals and that sort of thing is out of the way, it's going to be interesting to kind of explore the distribution model beyond that. Netflix, iTunes, Steam are obviously on the list, and direct download in some capacity. So it's an interesting kind of time for. I mean, the other thing that excites me about this is with the crowdsourcing and content distribution models in today's age, is really fascinating. So anyway, long story short, I mean, torrents in general, I think, are really fascinating. There are as many arguments and stats and studies that show that torrenting in some communities with certain shows can actually be beneficial to the show. Game of Thrones is one that studies have said that when the red wedding hit or whatever, Game of Thrones actually increased their viewership significantly because of torrenting that allowed people to get to watch that episode and fall in love with the show, and then they'd go back and watch it through VOD or legitimately. So,
just saying the name Red Wedding is not a spoiler. People in chat. No, that is. I totally agree. I still use Napster, but.
Are there people in the chat saying, sorry, my internet connection is not great and I don't want to risk crashing it by having the chat open?
No. He was just saying, spoiler. I said, no.
Spoilers.
I'll boot him. He's actually going to be on the show after you. What I do want to do now, unless you had anything else you want to state, I was going to run the small little campaign video you had.
Okay.
And play that, and then maybe I'm going to grab a drink while that's playing. And then we're going to dip into the lightning round.
I didn't know there was a lightning round. All right.
Oh, buddy. I got a special one. Because we actually know each other in person. Which doesn't usually happen with our guests.
Perfect. All right.
So let's see if I can't break this. Yes, XSplit. Crash on me, please. Here it comes. There it is. Probably should have preloaded this. Why doesn't your video load, Gavin?
Hi, I'm Gavin Seal, the director of Good Luck Have Fun, a documentary on esports in Canada. Canada has some of the top pro gamers in the world, and we'll be following them as they compete at the World Cyber Games national competition, and then ultimately to China to compete on the world stage. Along the way, we'll talk to personalities, casters, tournament organizers, and community members about all the hard work that people are currently putting in to growing esports in Canada. We'll spend some time at a Dota 2 team house where players train day and night to be the best. We'll talk to community groups like the Girls of StarCraft who are trying to create a better place to play. And we'll even look at issues that Canadians face when they go to play abroad, like getting visas to play League of Legends in the US. But we can't do it alone. Tackling such a big topic across such a large country isn't going to be cheap. Even a small donation will help with gas, food, other transportation expenses, and gear. This is an opportunity to help grow the profile of Canadian esports, and you can be a part of it. You'll even have your name in the credits to prove it. So go to Indiegogo.com, search Good Luck Have Fun, and let's show the US and Korea that they're not the only ones making an impact on the esports scene.
I thought that was going to be the original Indiegogo one you had up, which covered more of the mini doc that you made already. So I was excited to show that, but that was literally just a synopsis of everything you just said over the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Not that there's an issue with that. I went to go grab a drink and came back, and I was like, this isn't the one I thought it was. We don't really have time to play the other one.
That's cool.
But
actually, a funny story about that. Basically, the reason that I switched videos was originally I had cut that. It was like a minute 15-second teaser trailer where that had Dave Creamer talking about whether esports athletes were actually athletes. It had Thierry from World Cyber Games talking about the growing industry, and it had Combat X. It had Dave Wood talking about playing FIFA, and it had Combat X. And I should have seen this coming, but a lot of viewers who were familiar, a lot of people who didn't know about esports were like, oh, that was a great trailer, great teaser. I'm excited about these themes and ideas and being introduced to this community that I know nothing about. But to the community, they saw Combat X and they were like, this is called Good Luck Have Fun. Why is he in it? And I mean, I see where they're coming from. But the gist was, it was a minute to give you a sense of some of the topics and themes. But I think it's, anyway, so that's why it was changed. I'm sorry to disappoint you, John. You know how much you're
so
respect
going
and
forward with
admiration.
the rest of the project, do you plan to keep flip-flopping?
What?
You don't have to answer that. Just being
Thanks.
a dick. So this is the point in the show where I usually give you a minute or two to do any shout-outs. Where can we follow you? That sort of nonsense.
Yep. Go on Facebook right now, facebook.com/GLHFdoc. Like the Facebook page. That's where you'll get updates. Twitter is exactly the same, GLHFdoc. Tweet at me, send me Facebook links, any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And like I said, like there are about 20 people watching right now. If you guys throw in the $25 right now, that takes care of practically a good chunk of the rest of the central Eastern Canada thing. So
or if
it's not
going
to
to 1,000 each, you'd be there.
Exactly.
So,
Step
up, chat.
Facebook, Twitter, and of course the Indiegogo page to donate to this campaign so that we can create something and grow the profile of esports in Canada.
Fantastic. No, usually for the lightning round, I do have 10 questions prepared in advance. I'm looking at my sheet now, and I have exactly 0 prepared. So this is going to get interesting real fast.
So it's a lightning round for you too.
This is a lightning round in
Double
the purest sense. It's a very meta lightning round. But I think I can wing it. So let's do the intro that freezes every single time, because XSplit is a piece of shit program. We'll just play that real quick.
We're never going to get XSplit sponsorship now.
Not gonna lie, it actually worked. That was the first time in 30 episodes that worked. The only reason behind that, I could guess, is Frank's not here. So Frank is obviously some sort of demonic force that has possessed the show and cursed it. So, Gavin Seal from the Good Luck Have Fun documentary. Welcome to the lightning round. I know you are familiar because you're a big fan of Esports Canada and Esports Canada TV, this show, myself, and everything that we do. So I won't bore you with the details, so feel free to mute your headphones as I inform our 21 viewers currently about the lightning round. The lightning round is this. It is 10 skill testing questions. They are mentally and physically demanding. They will take you to the limit and back. There is no forgiveness. There's only pain. So, Gavin, I will ask you once and only once. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah.
That was enthusiastic. Nick, I'll ask that you keep score.
Got it.
Fantastic job tonight, Nick.
I know, right? So good.
Question number 1. You grew up in Montreal. Tell me your favorite Montreal Canadian.
Thomas Plekanec.
It's pretty current.
My middle name's Roy. I always loved Patrick Roy, but Thomas Plekanec, I guess it's a lightning round. I can't really explain it, right? That's all good.
We've had lightning rounds go on for 45 minutes, so I wouldn't worry about the time.
Well, I love Thomas Plekanec, and I really wanted to get a jersey, but the Habs were going through a time when they just kept trading players, and I was like, Thomas Plekanec is going to be the first one to go. He ended up staying there for just years and years, and continued to cement how much I liked him because of how badly I got screwed by not having ever bought his jersey, because I just thought he'd get traded, and I thought I'd face disappointment. So...
You're right. That did take way too long. 0 points. The correct answer was Vincent Damphousse. Damphousse.
That's a good one.
Damphousse. We're going to continue on the Montreal train. I'm not sure how old you were when you left Montreal. I'm going to assume you were at least 18 years of age, which meant you were down for a fun time party. Name your top 3 bars on St. Catherine Street.
Sharks, Pool Bar. The good bars aren't really on St. Catherine Street. Super Sex / Gentleman's.
Not familiar with that one.
Okay. That's Robert De Niro's favorite club as well, actually.
Fantastic.
And there's an arcade I used to go to a lot on St. Catharines at the corner of Crescent. I'm going to go with that because, like I said, yeah, I don't know. There aren't that many good clubs on St. Catherine. What do you got? What did it?
Listen, man, I do what I can. I'm not familiar with St. Catharines. I know of Super Sex and Downtown Bar. That's the other one. So you had 1 out of 3. So I'll give you a point, I guess.
I'll take it.
So you get 1 point. Nick, where are you keeping score? I see nothing on the page here of you keeping score. And you're also muted.
I wrote a 0.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Fantastic job so far, Nick.
You
currently are employed by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. There's a rumor that I've heard in the past that Peter Mansbridge, during the hot summer months, does not wear pants while sitting behind the news desks. Can you confirm that for me right now?
Given my current location, I can not confirm that for you at this moment.
Are you being watched right now?
Yes, and he may or may not be wearing pants.
My God. A point, just because I can tell you're terrified right now. Iron fist, that is CBC. Question number 4. You're a documentalist, journalist. I want you to tell me your top 2.5 documentaries of all time.
Indie Game the movie, definitely. I want to say definitely top, because I love that. I loved Indie Game the movie so much. I've seen it so many times.
This is a lightning round.
I want to go with hers. Grizzly Man. Grizzly Man's probably up there. What I like about Grizzly Man is that it's questionable as it's a documentary because it's not a real subject, but it seems more like a comedy. Like, it seems like Werner Herzog, when he was making that movie, it wasn't clear whether he was treating the subject with respect or if he knew all along that this was totally ridiculous and hilarious. So
Werner Herzog would do that.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Grizzly Man and, of course, Indie Game the movie. I would have liked to have seen Dear Zachary in the mention there. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's the most painful, saddest movie to ever be made. So if you do have a chance, watch that.
Okay.
But no, I like those two answers. 2 points. 2 points on that one. Let me restart that. Epic game show music. Question number 5. So far, you've been scanning the globe looking for esports personalities to be featured in your documentary. I want to know the cutest esports personality. The cutest person in esports.
I have to say some of the women I've spoken to from the Girls of StarCraft are very attractive. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that because it would be unprofessional to go any further.
All right, so pervert answer, no points. Question 6. Based off your response.
Sorry, John. Who was your answer? Who would have got to the point?
Who's the cutest? Massa.
Okay.
Drew Massa.
That's a good one.
That's well renowned. That is the answer. Anyone who doesn't know that, yeah. Oh, obviously he's the cutest.
Yeah.
A whole section called the cutest in esports.
I think he's one of the few people who, when I email, like his name changes characters, which is, as you said, absolutely adorable. You're right.
Question number 6, based off your answer for the cutest, I want to know what your girlfriend thinks about this whole project. And be honest.
Yeah, she I think it was the second or third time that I'd watched Indie Game the movie, and she was watching it with me, and it's like the movie ended, and I was like, "Wasn't that good? Did you like it?" And I looked down, and there was like a puddle of tears on my chest. Like she was like bawling her eyes out. So nice. The fact that she's like totally behind me, especially after seeing that, like I kind of showed her that, and I was like, "This is my inspiration," and so she's 100% behind me. She loves the idea, and she digs it.
I thought you were going to say you had been watching Indie Game the movie for like the 3rd and 4th time, and finally she was going to be like, "God damn it! Why don't you just go make your own if you're just going to sit here and watch this one repeatedly?" And you were like, "Wait, maybe I can make my own." 1 point for that. Supportive girlfriends always deserve 1 point. Nick can attest to that.
You didn't meet Laura. Frank met Laura.
No, I did. She popped in for 2 seconds into Fred's place and said hello, and then had to leave.
That's right. Yeah, great. And yeah, Nick, you were at the Barcraft with Laura came too. So yeah, she's very supportive.
Question number 7. Running real low on questions here, making these up on the fly. It's very difficult. You're going to be making a road trip across North America. Tell me your favorite road trip game.
I like sing-alongs. I like cranking some jams and just getting a whole car full of people singing a song that for some reason everyone knows the words to, and yet it's like it starts out and everyone's a little shy about kind of putting it out there and letting everyone else know that they know the words, and next thing you know, just 5 people are singing, I don't know, like Britney Spears' Toxic or something, and it's just like a shit show.
Yeah, I like singing. 1 point for that. Being real easy on you tonight.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Geez, what do we have a total score now? 3, 5. You're at 5 points going into question 8.
Pretty good.
Pretty good score.
Pretty good.
Question number 8, focusing more on StarCraft right now. I know you do play the game, sometimes with your friends, sometimes hopefully alone. I want to know your highest rank and your race.
Gold Protoss. So.
I'm a gold-ish Zerg, so we will
show match
at some points. You can play at CDC, right? They don't mind that.
I've been on break for an hour, so.
Wow. So this will be posted, of course, to CBC's Twitter after the show. Gold Protoss, 1 point. point for being gold, and -1 for being Protoss.
+1 for taking the time out of my job to be here.
We all take time, bud. That's what esports is all about.
All right.
You're not special.
-1 for suggesting it.
-1 for suggesting you're better than everyone else in esports. Question number 10. What can you tell me about the Fredericton Gaming Expo?
I believe it's this weekend, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good time.
So there's an event happening this weekend that's going to be a great time. But you can't tell me anything about it whatsoever.
No, I know there's a Facebook group, and I know there's a lot of activity on it, and people seem pretty excited about it. And I think I asked you to promote the documentary at it.
Oh, did you?
I think I Facebooked you. I saw that. I was
okay.
like, I should mention the doc.
Yeah, I'll definitely mention that.
Yeah.
To do it on stage.
What do you know about the Fredericton Gaming Expo?
That
Sounds like you would try.
The best expo to ever hit the Fredericton region, ×10. Speaking of 10, we are now at question 10. Nick, did you give him a point for that?
What point? No.
Point for 9? Why do you have 1 right next to 9?
Okay. 0.
I will award you 1 point for that because you did know that it was this weekend.
Yeah, I was right.
Let's see your total score here. 3, 4, 5, 6 -1. You're at 5 going into question 10.
Now I'm distracted looking up more on this gaming expo. This looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's massive.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna have the organizers on right after you're on, so let's hurry.
Oh man, Super Smash Brothers Melee? That's amazing.
Yes, that's how we do. Question number 10. Describe to me your perfect. I won't go there. Oh,
Good.
you got that. Question 10 needs to be special. Needs to be good.
Special. Make it special.
It needs to be so special. Do me an elevator pitch for the Good Luck, Have Fun documentary. But it needs to be in the style of something. Because I want to go something news related. If you could maybe give me the elevator pitch for the Good Luck, Have Fun documentary in the style of Weatherman. We'll call this a night.
I'm here in Toronto, Ontario at the Canadian Broadcast Corporation, where a movement is underway through a crowdsourced campaign to get the necessary funding to send a group of filmmakers across North America to find out more about this phenomenon called esports, from sunny Vancouver down by the water all the way over to Eastern Canada and the maritime provinces. This documentary will cover the entire spectrum of current affairs related to esports in Canada. Back to you, John.
That was good. I would have liked to hear more mention of cloud types and or the jet stream.
Current. I threw current in there.
That was sounding more like you were saying like modern or present day.
Oh, okay.
That sort of current.
I guess that one went.
And not the movement of. I don't actually pay attention when you answer the questions. I'm looking at the chat. I'm preparing other things. Fantastic job. 5 points, and that brings you to 10 points, which does qualify you, in fact, for the end of the year Lightning Round World Championships, where I bring back the top 16 scores throughout the season to come back at the end of the year to compete in a one-on-one tournament of almighty power. So you do, in fact, qualify for that. So good job, and we will see you in November.
Great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem. Please do head over to Indiegogo.com and look up Good Luck, Have Fun, and donate anything you can, whether it's $1 or $10,000. I'm looking at everyone in the chat. If they can all donate, I want to see this number go up in the next 5 minutes. And if it doesn't, I'll bring Frank back on the show next week. And thank you to our guest this evening, Gavin Seal. You can follow him at Gavin Seal Media, or as well at Good Luck or GLHF Doc on Twitter. And look up their Facebook page as well. They'll be sending all the updates there as well. When can we expect the actual, if everything goes on schedule, when can we expect this to actually be released?
We are currently anticipating it to be released essentially a year from August 29th. So, excuse me, that's what I've committed of my life. If it takes longer or less, that's great. But essentially, a year of my life is what I'm giving to this. So
Nice.
It's pretty good. Well, Gavin, please do come back on the show once you've finished your world tour, and you can update us on that. And as well, when you want to release the full film, please do let us know.
great.
We'll probably
Thanks
make a
to you
tweet
guys.
about it or something.
Absolutely. And thanks to everyone watching. If you have any other questions, hit me up. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the doc.
Cool. And I will definitely put you in touch with Mike Daniels afterwards because he can tell you all about the fighting game peoples.
Sweet.
Cool. I'd ask that you leave now and hang your head in shame. And actually, one more question. How accurate is the newsroom, the HBO program, compared to, say, a CBC newsroom? In 20 seconds or less.
Not accurate.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. So Peter Mansbridge isn't smoking cigarettes in his office and getting people
That
out
one
of
may
jail.
be accurate. Also, like a lot of the technical production value is really accurate. So they like the programs that they use, iNews, and having the red alerts and people kind of, oh my God, there's a red alert. That's very accurate. But the the human dynamics are obviously dramatized the same way I imagine The West Wing was dramatized in a similar
I don't think
fashion.
there's that much walking in the actual White House. Cool.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick 10-second break, and by break, I mean I'm going to sit here and add up a bunch of new screen captures as we bring on the other organizers of the Fredericton Gaming Expo to give a rundown of that and hopefully answer any questions that people have and do some last-minute hype for that. So remember to go to Indiegogo and donate to this amazing documentary. And Gavin, we will see you soon. I need to add in some more people here.
Let's get him in. Wait, but this is that chat.
Yeah, I'll just kick them out afterwards.
Woo!
Woo! And I'll change out the overlay.
And Steven.
Watch me add in this overlay that I've already prepared. Who's watching the stream? If you could mute that, that'd be amazing. Not people actually in chat watching the stream, but you catch my drift. Here we come.
Here we go.
The day. Nick, you're in the wrong position. Everyone's in the wrong position. Welcome to Esports Canada, where the lightning round means nothing. The positions don't matter. One last person to turn on. That is XSplits. Yeah, there we go. Steven, turn on your video or else I can't do anything.
It said it won't let me turn it on.
Okay, fantastic. You get no video. I'll bring on Mike Daniels, the baby-faced
There he is.
killer.
I have XSplit running?
No, stop. Don't try and turn on video anymore, Steven. You will, in fact, blow up this entire show. There he is. Look at that face. Look at it.
It's coming back though. The beard's making a comeback.
Yeah, I can see a bit of a shadow going on there. Little shadow. Little shadow. New screen region there. Fantastic. Last one.
Oh, guess what? Meow.
Chat's hyping me up.
Well, I just told you not to turn on video because it screws up the other screen regions I just did.
Back isn't moving right now.
It looks like the chat is pro Jack and not for so much for Steve, eh?
So you went and made a bunch of Twitch accounts before you came on the show tonight, Jack?
We made some butt buddies before. That's all it is.
I put you as Jack in there, Mike. Sorry about that.
So confusing.
I know. Well, I did have it all good until someone decided to turn their video on. So I specifically told them not to.
I just wanted to get back to Candy Crush, that's all.
Oh.
That's embarrassing. Boom. I gotta edit Nick too. He's got a toothache.
Hurts so much.
This is taking forever. How am I supposed to watch MasterChef Australia after this? One last person. The least important. Here he comes.
I'm there. I want to watch MasterChef.
Man, MasterChef Australia is so good. I can't even express how amazing it is.
I'm going to watch it right now.
Everyone talks in the greatest accents. They make some pretty good food. Did anyone post in the Fredericton Gaming Expo thing about this talk?
We
Probably do that.
did not.
I can go do that.
Oh, that'd be great.
Super. Michael, why don't you tell us about the fighting games happening at FGX?
Alrighty, so for the fighting game portion of the event, we will have Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and the new hotness, which is Injustice Gods Among Us. They would be what I have termed, and I hope this catches on for the rest of the fighting game community, what I would term the big three. So it's always been the big two with Marvel and Street Fighter, and now I think Injustice, after being super good and super well done at EVO, has joined those other two as the three biggest fighting games probably going on right now. So we're hitting all the key markets there. 2 superhero games and the mainstay that is Street Fighter 4.
As you do know, I've started to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I can now beat the computer on normal.
Yeah, you're almost there. You're almost there, man. You're gonna win FGX at this rate for sure.
How good does the computer have to be, and then I can still beat him? And then how far, based on that, will I place at FGX?
You will go 0-2 in dead last.
Damn it!
The computer knows when to shore you and reversal, and that's about it. They can't do combos, and they don't have good reactions, and they know nothing of the metagame. So, yeah, you'll do okay.
Well, that sounds like most people at my level.
Probably beat some 10-year-olds. We get that.
No, man, they'd be so good. Young kids are so good at video games. It's unfair.
Yeah, those young man reactions. Life is over the hill, man. He's like, what, 17? He's got no reactions left.
I do want to face Realist again at FGX and StarCraft. But we can get to that in a bit.
John will forever live in Realist. Shut up.
It's not fair at all. I want to know, Mike, based on the registration so far that we have across all 3 games, who are your favorites going into FGX this weekend?
Sure, absolutely. So, obviously, St. John does very, very well in Street Fighter 4. They have 2 of our strongest players in the region in Old Man Rillis and Psychic Steve. They've finished 1-2 or won almost every major Street Fighter tournament in the last year and a half, so they'll do very well if they decide to show up. They're only an hour away, so hopefully they do show up. They'll do well. Psychic Steve and Luke Perry should do very well in Marvel, as well as Justin Credible. And Injustice is kind of up in the air, but I think Justin Credible from St. John, as well as Take 2 Chance from Charlottetown PEI, will be strong favorites in Injustice.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing if your predictions are in fact correct, and how quickly Realist will fall based on me poisoning him at his arrival Saturday morning.
Well, you're going to have to do it with, water or iced tea, because Realist doesn't drink, so...
That's fine. I was just going to take a syringe and stab him as he walked by.
Okay. Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan style, right? Club him in the knee.
Yeah. That kind stranger knocked my knee back into place. Okay, I want to move on now to Call of Duty, which has actually had a lot of registrations here the past couple of days leading into this weekend. Steve, what can you tell me about our Call of Duty competition at FGX this weekend?
So we're looking to have, right now we have 9 teams, I think. It's going to be like a double elimination type deal. We're bringing in the MLG rules, the same rules that are used in most competitive tournaments, almost all of them right now, actually. And I mean, there's still people making teams on the page, so we're looking to get more people.
Hopefully, we get over 40 show up. It'd be sick.
Yeah.
And based off who's registered right now, are you familiar with any of these teams? Do you think we'll see some pretty good play?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few teams that I know of that are going that came to one of the events that we held a while ago. And there's also some new teams that are being formed, which I'm pretty excited to bring some more people into the competitive scene in Atlantic Canada and in the Fredericton area. So, should be nice.
Fantastic. Moving on to StarCraft. I guess, Jack, this is your forte now. I guess I will be running StarCraft. Wow, we jumped up in viewers. Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll tag team that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So StarCraft competition, it's going to be split into Bronze, Silver, Gold, so a lower league, as well as Platinum, Diamond, Masters. There hasn't been any GM sign up, but they will as well be thrown into that top division, and I'm guessing win the entire thing. But lower league players will get to play at the baby level, and I do not mean that to be derogatory. I as well am in Gold, so. But yeah, prizing will be split. So right now I think we have about 24 people or so signed up for SC2, and I hope to have some more at the door. But we've got some really cool prizes for that. We've got some donations from Geek Chic, so a bunch of t-shirts, hats, keychains, things like that, all StarCraft 2 related, that we'll be able to give away to our top 3, as well as the prize pool, which is around, I believe, I'm going to say like $350 right now to give away for StarCraft. So
Nice.
Yeah, that should look
And it only gets bigger.
pretty good. And as well in the StarCraft stream, we'll be doing WCS finals for Europe, Korea, and America, which are going on that weekend. So we'll be able to do Europe, I think, in the morning, and then America doesn't start until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So Saturday evening into the late night will be all StarCraft, as well as the International 3 for Dota 2, which will be streamed as well. And Stephen, what's the event going on in Atlanta that we're streaming for Call of Duty?
It's UMG, so it's one of the bigger Call of Duty, and it actually has Halo at the same time. But obviously, if we were to stream one, it would be the Call of Duty portion. But yeah, it's got most of the pro teams going, so it should be pretty big. A lot of people going to that.
Fun to watch too.
Oh yeah.
And one of the games that we have, League of Legends, it's not really big. Super Smash Brothers. What can we talk about for Super Smash Brothers? It's not myself running it, nor are any of us running it. It's someone else. But do we have any sort of input? Mike, you love Super Smash Brothers. What can you tell us about that competition happening this weekend?
I think there's a lot of Super Smash Brothers interest at FGX. I know there's a bunch of people from Halifax driving up. The Smash scene in Halifax is alive and well, so you'll see a lot of big names come from Halifax. I'm not sure exactly who's coming, but I have seen some Facebook talk about it. And then, what's his name? Probably the most famous person from our region, Dan Hoyt, will be there. Super Boom fan. I watched his spectacular play at Hella Smashed 7 last year when I streamed it. He's really, really good. I believe he won Smash 64 at Apex one year, which is like the world championship of Smash. So he's a big name. He'll be there. So he'll probably body everyone free. But
Yeah.
he's definitely the one to watch in Smash Brothers, I would say.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Super Smash Brothers has been doing really well. It has the highest registrations next to League of Legends right now, so good for them. Glad to see all those people are going to be showing up this weekend. And, of course, our most popular game right now, much to my chagrin, is League of Legends. We had to cap it, actually, at 16 teams just because the tournament takes so damn long. Games are, an hour each, and we're trying to get through a field of 16 people. I know we do have all weekend, but... yeah, we don't have that much time. We are only running on 20 computers for that portion, so we do have to get through them rather quickly. But we have over $1,000 to give away for League of Legends, as well as Ride points, and I believe the Rise tournament skin, and that'll all go to first, second, and third. And yeah, pretty stoked for that. In preparation, I've been reading the Babysitters Club this week to prepare for
all the competitors.
I'm kidding. Anyone watching? No, our youngest competitors by far have actually been in Call of Duty. So take that, Steve.
Can we recap how many people we have for COD and StarCraft right quick? Or
Yeah. How many teams? You have 9? Because I have 24 teams. The team of 1. We're like the Marines. As well, going on this weekend, we do have, like I mentioned, they'll be streaming for WCS America, Korea, and Europe going on one of the screens. TI3 UMG out of Atlanta will be happening as well. We're trying to stream some in-house games, so League of Legends and some of the fighting games will be happening on the big screen. And then we have a whole section of tabletop games that'll be happening. So there's a whole section for Warhammer and a bunch of other war tabletop games. I'm not familiar with all of them, but there will be someone there who does. And games that will be on hand as well, demoing some board games and tabletop games and magic cards and whatnot, and selling those as well. So if you do want to come and pick those up, you can do so. Nick, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bored are you right now?
So excited. I wish I could go, but I don't have the money to fly out. But that would be really cool to be there. It sounds like an amazing event.
Funny you should mention that, Nick. If you can't come to the event yourself, then you should watch the live stream on RalstonArcade.com.
That's true.
Oh, I didn't know about that, but thank you for mentioning it, because that's all I'm going to do now.
So RalstonArcade.com will be streaming fighting games to their completion on Saturday. So you'll see Injustice, followed by Street Fighter, followed by Ultimate Marvel. As always, Marvel's got to be last because it's the hype. And then we'll stream Call of Duty, League of Legends, and StarCraft on Sunday. So if you're looking to check out all the action from Fredericton Gaming Expo, definitely check out RalstonArcade.com.
Key. And as well on hand, Gameco TV from Halifax will be on hand. I'm going to be their correspondent for the weekend, doing some interviews and catching up with a lot of the gamers, the people that are there, vendors, volunteers, etc. to give a nice little view at what goes on at a given LAN of this size. As well for vendors, we do have Monroe Computers out of Fredericton and St. John. We'll have a table selling a bunch of gaming gear. Digital World will be on hand taking care of our casual stations, so they're giving us some TVs, consoles, things like that. Be running some competitions and games. As well, Geek Chic will be on hand selling t-shirts, different kind of swag, covering a bunch of different games. As well, in terms of vendors, who else? No, okay, that's it for vendors. But then as well for sponsors, one of our title sponsors is the Center for Arts and Technology, Fredericton Campus. They're going to be on hand showing off a bunch of their cool gear, 3D modeling type stuff. They're going to have a whole giant booth showcasing a bunch of that as well. The Gaming Animation Institute of Fredericton.
Yep. Yep.
Fantastic. Another school in the Fredericton area, they'll be on hand as well, showing off their wares. And we have a paintball group out of Fredericton that'll be there. They're going to donate a couple free passes for paintball to a local place, local field. So we'll be giving that away. So we have giving away about $3,000 worth of cash plus for all the tournaments, as well a bunch of sponsorship prizes, keyboards, mice, t-shirts, board games, handshakes, smiles, things like that.
Booster juice coupons.
Booster juice coupons.
Put it into my veins.
For Mike Daniels, etc. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers the entire weekend. I did tweet at the mayor of Fredericton to come and kick us off, but he's ducking me, so might have to keep tweeting him all this week to see if he'll actually show up. So, Brad Woodside, if you are watching the show, come on out.
I'll just walk over to his house, knock on his door, be like, come to the event!
So, I'm going to pretty much close out the show right now. Is there anything else we wanted to cover, guys, before we closed out this mother?
I think Nick should talk for like an hour and a half, since he hasn't really talked at all this episode.
He has a toothache.
I've been in pain the whole time. It sucks.
I do want to give a shout out to the Clarity Gaming community team. We ended up placing second in the Chobo Team League. We lost our championship match to Jack's cheating team made up of all masters who posed in different ranks. That may or may not be true. Who knows? And yeah, so I had a lot of fun in that league. I believe it's starting up again in 3 to 4 weeks. So if you do want to participate in that, you can head on over to choboteamleague.engine, enjin.com, and sign up for the league there. And hopefully we put on my team and we'll actually win this season.
We actually three-peated, so I think you'd rather be on Team UR.
No one wants to join the Yankees, but
you can pretty much call me LeBron James.
Just gonna move you now pretty quick here. And if you are in the Fredericton area, New Brunswick, or the Maritimes at all this weekend, please come by to 361 Smythe Street to the Fredericton Gaming Expo being held at the Capitol Exhibit Center. It's $10 to get in all weekend long, or $20 to compete in a tournament. There's gonna be food, beer, prizes, board games, oh my.
And beer.
Yep.
That's the main.
And beer is the main one.
Yeah.
So is the grudge match between Rillis and John Quinn going to happen?
On Sunday is the grand final to the entire tournament. It's going to be a best of 15 match.
Where every time you win, you have to, or lose, you have to take a shot?
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Cool, guys. So thank you to our guests tonight, Mike Daniels, Jack Lance, Stephen LeBlanc, and of course Gavin Seal from the Good Luck Have Fun documentary. If you can follow Gavin at Gavin Media or at Gavin Seal Media on Twitter or GLHF Doc, and please donate to that cause because I really want to see that documentary, and I don't want to be the only one that donated $500. I didn't actually do that yet. Yeah, FGX is this weekend, and I cannot wait. Nothing's in between me and that except for hard, long days of work. Our guest next week is no one at this time. Frank's been super slack. Not only did he not show up tonight, but he forgot to book us a guest. But we'll see what happens. Usually we're able to scram together someone completely amazing. I know Sadokist from ESEA and IGL was supposed to come on at some point, so maybe he will come on and talk to us all about his casting for CSGO and Dota 2. So that does it for us tonight. I've been your host, Quinn in the Net. You can follow me on Twitter or not, I don't care. And Nick Songers at ESC Songers. Nick, any last words from you?
Ow.
Ow. The words of a wise man.
Yes.
Good night, everyone, and thank you to Frank for not showing up tonight. P.S. I saw The Conjuring last night. Scariest movie of my life. Fuck everything about that movie. Good night, everyone.